So we really want to be your source to help you stay up to date, because not everyone has enough time to comb through the news every day and stay up to date on the latest and greatest in blockchain. All right, well, let's dive in and talk about what's happening in the world of blockchain this week. There were a few stories that stood out to me that I thought might be worth talking about. One that showed up in the news yesterday was this one, Ray Dalio. He says if Bitcoin is really successful, regulators are going to kill it. What is Ray talking about? Well, Ray Dalio, founder of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater's Associates, believes regulators would ultimately take control of Bitcoin if the cryptocurrency gains mainstream. He says, I think at the end of the day, if it's really successful, they will kill it. They will try to kill it. And I think they will kill it because they have ways of killing it, Dalio told Andrew Ross Sorkin Wednesday on CNBC's Squawk Box. Wow, that's very ominous sounding, isn't it? They have ways of killing it. So Ray is obviously a believer that the government, at least here in the United States, is fairly anti-Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The article goes on to say, U.S. regulators have stepped up their oversight of the volatile cryptocurrency space as the wild rides in the speculative markets continue to grab attention. We've certainly seen this happening, more and more regulation coming. Despite some heavy bouts of volatility, Bitcoin has been quite successful as of late. The cryptocurrency has quadrupled in the last 12 months, which is pretty amazing, and was hovering just over $47,000 on Wednesday. Of course, as we all know, it hit a high of $60,000 earlier this year. Dalio made an interesting point. He said, hey, you have El Salvador taking it on, and you have India and China getting rid of it, and then here's the United States trying to figure out how to regulate it, and can it still be controlled? And I think this is kind of interesting. I think this article says a lot more about where we are with trust in our current institutions than anything else. You hear a lot of debate back and forth of this, and the common theme from folks in the space seems to be, hey, the government is against Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. But the way that manifests itself is different depending on whom you're talking to. You have some folks like Ray here who say, boy, if this thing starts to get traction and catch on, the government's going to shut it down. You have other folks who say, no, you shouldn't be trusting Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because that's something the government is encouraging. They're trying to move us away from physical cash and non-digital forms of payment to something that can be tracked and analyzed, where there's a permanent, immutable history trail. So pretty interesting. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. Leave a message, throw something in chat. What do you think? Do you feel like the government is pro-cryptocurrency, anti-cryptocurrency? Do you think they're trying to promote its usage, shut down its usage? Very interesting. One thing I thought was really interesting is Ray here, for all his skepticism about the future of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. He says it's still a viable alternative to cash. So his skepticism doesn't necessarily extend as far as saying, hey, there's no value to Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. So really, really interesting times. And as a community, I think we've been waiting for this moment in time for quite a while. We've been talking ever since Bitcoin became a thing about, hey, when is this going to reach mainstream adoption? This is sometimes referred to as crossing the chasm. This chasm that exists between early adopters and regular everyday users. And we might finally be at the point. It seems like 2021 has really kind of been the year of blockchain. And every day when you tune in and read the news, it seems like there's something blockchain related. So I'd be curious what you think. Do you agree with Ray or do you not? Another area in the blockchain news that kind of stuck out to me this week is what's happening in the NFT market. NFTs, you may or may not be familiar with. NFT is just a non-fungible token. And that's just a fancy way of saying that NFTs are these special types of coins or tokens where one may not be worth as much as the other. When we talk about a fungible asset, we're talking about something like a US dollar, where every dollar bill, regardless of its condition, is worth every bit as much as every other dollar bill. Well, NFTs are the exact opposite of that, and one NFT may be worth quite a bit more or less than other NFTs. And NFTs have gotten a lot of traction and adoption this year, primarily in the space of digital artwork and collectibles. You may recall earlier this spring, Twitter auctioned off the very first tweet that ever occurred on Twitter. Was a tweet made by Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey back in 2006. And someone paid just under $3 million to own that first tweet. We'll dive into that, I think, on a future episode and kind of talk about what does that mean if you buy one of these expensive NFTs? What do you really own? What is it you're really buying? But NFTs have certainly gained a lot of traction and adoption this year. Are we using this technology correctly? Are we really extracting the value from it that we could be? Well, in my opinion, no, we're really not. And the second article kind of speaks to this. This comes to us from Motherboard, which is Vice's technology section. OpenSea is one of the largest NFT markets that there is out there right now. And one of their senior level employees got caught doing a little bit of insider trading. So let's check out what happened here. OpenSea, a major digital marketplace for NFTs, admitted on Wednesday that an employee used insider knowledge to buy high-value collectibles. The OpenSea marketplace is the main destination for NFT buyers online. Essentially, OpenSea is just an exchange where you can go and buy and sell and trade these NFTs. And for the more prominent or more high-value NFTs, they can earn a place on this market's homepage, and that's a very, very coveted spot. The article goes on in describing OpenSea to say it's the one place where you might buy a pixelated CryptoPunk for as much as a house or a Bored Ape. And if you're like a lot of people, you've probably never heard of CryptoPunks or Bored Apes. These are just goofy little pixelated avatars that you can buy for way too much money. So on the left, here's an example of a Bored Ape. Over here on the right is a CryptoPunk. We'll talk about these in a moment. But these are collectible NFTs that are selling for tremendously high valuations. The site works like an auction house, and items in the collection are bid on by the public once they go live. Some collections are given the coveted spot of promotion on the site's homepage, a process that involves the NFT creators tagging OpenSea on social media and having submissions reviewed by staff. Well, here's where the problem comes. The trouble began on Tuesday night when a Twitter user accused OpenSea's head of product, Nate Chastain, of abusing his position to buy NFTs in collections that are slated to be promoted on the homepage and then quickly selling them for a profit. And this is the part that really stuck out to me. So there was this employee at OpenSea. He wasn't just a minor employee. He was head of product. And he was using his insider information as head of product for this major exchange to go buy up NFTs that were going to be listed on the exchange's homepage, knowing that that's a very prestigious position. And if you can go ahead and get that advance purchase of something that's going to show up on the homepage, you can likely turn around and sell it for a profit. What sticks out to me is a couple things. This was not an entry level or junior level employee. This was their head of product. This was a very senior level employee, someone who likely had a lot of stake in the company and a lot to gain or lose in terms of their professional reputation. I think this just kind of is indicative of where the NFT market is right now. The second thing that really stands out to me, and this kind of goes back to Ray Dalio and the conversation we were just having around regulation, is how much in the blockchain space is still unregulated. If you did exactly the same thing, but not with an NFT, with a share of stock, you would absolutely, unquestionably be going to jail. You right now would be getting a knock on your door from some friendly or not so friendly gentlemen in black suits from the SEC who would want to talk to you about your activities. But because so much is still unregulated in the blockchain space, it's not sure that any consequences are going to befall Mr. Chastain other than just losing his position with OpenSea. And this kind of gets to a bigger philosophical concern that I have, which is there is some amazing potential for NFTs. There's some really, really cool and meaningful and transformative things that we could do with non-fungible tokens. But unfortunately, we just seem to be doing a lot of dumb shit with them. And we shouldn't be. Because again, there's so much we could do with NFTs, with this technology, that really would make an impact. For example, NFTs are a great way that you as a customer might be able to go into a store and purchase a product or shop for a product online and have a guarantee, have an assurance that what you're buying is sourced with fair labor practices, is compliant with all laws and regulations. Maybe the product you're purchasing or you're interested in meets concerns around environmental sustainability or impact. You know, one of the great things about NFTs, and this is really an area that we haven't explored yet, is if you decide to create one of these NFTs or non-fungible tokens, you have the ability to make them non-tradable or non-transferable. And really what that means is I can create an NFT and I can put it in your wallet, but then you can never get rid of it or sell it or trade it or transfer it to anyone else. And this is an ideal solution for doing things like tracking achievements, awards, certifications, milestones, and more. And if you talk to any hiring manager out there and you ask them how prevalent is resume fraud, you're going to hear most hiring managers say, you know what, at least half the resumes that I look at seem to have one inaccuracy or one falsehood on them. Someone claiming that they got a degree that they didn't get or that they held a position they never really held. And NFTs could go a long way to combating this kind of misinformation and fraud. And so in an era when we have such little trust in the institutions around us, and fraud, misinformation, and mistruth seems to be so prevalent, it seems like we're really squandering a golden opportunity here. And to just kind of drive the nail in the coffin, this was the third article that really stood out to me this week, that these NFTs have really kind of become a marker of social status. And if you don't have one of these terrible pixelated NFTs in your social media profile, well, all you're really doing is just advertising to the world that you're poor. Because like I said, the prices of these have gotten pretty exorbitant. Here's a quote from this article. The price of NFTs attached to unique images have skyrocketed recently with top projects such as CryptoPunks. This is a CryptoPunk right here, this pixelated dude on the right. People pay a lot of money for these, with CryptoPunks netting millions of dollars per pixelated character. But it's not just CryptoPunks. There's apes, penguins, clowns, cartoon rocks, and much, much more. But even the affordable spin-offs of such popular projects are proliferating like Skechers to the Nikes of the new market for online status. One of the latest entries to the NFT game is three-time NBA champion Stephen Curry, who last Saturday snagged an NFT of a tweed-wearing monkey with a blue fur from the collection Bored Ape Yacht Club. Curry paid $180,000 US dollars for the privilege. That's right. If you want to be the owner of this image of this little digital ape who's wearing 3D glasses for some reason, is either chewing on a toothpick or smoking a joint, and is wearing a sailor's hat. That could be yours for $180,000 or more. And this is where I just have to say stop. As a community, we are really missing the point of blockchain. There's a lot more things that we could be doing with NFTs that add value. And if someone's got $180,000 to spend, I have to imagine in this era, while we're going through the Great Resignation, where over 40% of the U.S. workforce is considering leaving their job or changing careers, there are probably a lot of very bright, very knowledgeable, very motivated people who have a dream to start a new business. And taking that $180,000 and using it to enable someone's dream, using that as startup capital, to me, anyway, seems like a lot better usage than just buying some goofy digital monkey so you can make this the profile picture on Twitter and show everyone how rich you are. In fact, I'll tell you what, if you want to show the world how rich you are, if you want to brag how wealthy you are and how much more money you have than everyone else, don't waste your time buying one of these NFTs. If you want to show everyone on Twitter how incredibly wealthy you are, just log in to your online banking account and take a screenshot and use that for your profile. You're still going to get the same message across. You're still going to show yourself as being a conceited jerk to the rest of the world. And best of all, that money will still be available if you decide you want to invest it in some cause or some project that actually is going to deliver something good to the world. So those were kind of the three big items that stuck out to me this week as we talk about what's going on in blockchain. Love to hear from you. What are you guys reading and hearing about in the blockchain news that's got you excited? What questions do you have? What kind of things do you want to discuss here on Blockchain Update? Go ahead and let us know. Leave something in the comments. And if you like this and you want to join us again, be sure to tune back in here, same place, same time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, for a new edition of Blockchain Update. We'll talk about what's going on in the world of blockchain, what new developments are happening, what concerns are out there in the marketplace, and most important, if you have questions or items you want to discuss, go ahead and join us. Throw something in the chat. Throw your question in there. And we will spend a little time and discuss your question, talk about what's going on, and make sure that you walk away an expert in that area. That's what we're here for. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to our inaugural appearance here on Blockchain Update. Like I said, be sure to join us back here, same time, same place, 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, as we continue to talk about what's going on in the world of blockchain and answer your questions along the way. Until next time, I'm Chris Bennett, your blockchain beard guy. Hope you guys are having a great day.